Welcome back, and more COVID-related news. Vegetable prices have fallen as supplies from the mainland return to near normal levels. And a hotel in Chunwan has opened its doors to COVID patients as a special taxi fleet rode into action. More from Macy Mock.
About 300 taxis joined a special fleet to transport COVID patients with minor symptoms to one of 7 designated clinics. Ng Kwon Sing, who heads a taxi association, said 1,100 taxis had been booked as of 3 p.m. today. He said drivers took some time to get used to the booking app. Urged people to provide the specific time and location when they book and only call for a cab to take them home when they finish their consultation at the clinic. Dorset Chunwan has become the first hotel to take in COVID patients with no or mild symptoms today. 21 hotels have pledged to reserve 11,000 rooms to help Hong Kong turn back the 5th wave. And there was relief for consumers as vegetable imports from the mainland reached 90% of the normal daily level. Supplies dwindled earlier because cross-border lorry drivers were quarantined. As more vegetables reached local markets, prices fell. The wholesale price of pea shoots per caddy more than halved to $17 from $39 last Sunday. Spinach at $11 per caddy was exactly half the cost last week. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
Flights from Zhuhai to Beijing were suspended from today after a mainland resident who lived in Hong Kong contracted COVID. The infected person was arrested on arrival in Shanghai on Monday after allegedly entering Zhuhai illegally from Hong Kong earlier. The person was also accused of obstructing the prevention of infectious diseases. There was a rise in imported cases in Guangdong, with 11 arrivals from Hong Kong in the past 24 hours. The mainland, meanwhile, recorded 40 new locally transmitted cases yesterday, most of them in the north. 22 were in Inner Mongolia and 9 in the neighboring province of Liaoning. The Dutch Prime Minister has apologized to Indonesia for atrocities committed by the Netherlands during its colonial past. This came as a study unveiled the deliberate use of extreme violence by Dutch soldiers during Indonesia's fight for independence after the Second World War. Mark Rutte deeply apologized for the crimes and also for the collective failure of previous Dutch governments to acknowledge the atrocities. It's the first time that a Dutch leader admitted that systematic attacks had occurred in Indonesia. Starting in 1945, an estimated 100,000 Indonesians were killed before the Dutch withdrew in 1949. Conflict reignited in eastern Ukraine, where Russia-backed separatists and Ukrainian forces blamed each other after a kindergarten was shelled. That raised fears that Moscow might use the attack as a pretext for an invasion. While at the United Nations, Russia and the United States crossed swords again. Moscow's claims of a troop withdrawal has failed to assure the West that a Russian invasion of Ukraine is off the table. U.S. President Joe Biden believes the chances of Russian leader Vladimir Putin ordering an attack within days are still very high. Moscow, which has accused the U.S. and its allies of scaremongering, expelled the second highest diplomat at the U.S. embassy. Washington took the diplomatic tug of war to the United Nations Security Council.
Russia says it's drawing down those forces. We do not see that happening on the ground. The Russian government can announce today, with no qualification, equivocation, or deflection, that Russia will not invade Ukraine.
Russia fired back, blaming the West for ignoring its core security interests.
This is our sovereign right to think about our security, national security, and also to have our troops where we believe they are important for the defense.
Amid attempts to avert a new war, an old war that's been smoldering for 8 years appears to have intensified. This kindergarten in eastern Ukraine was shelved, but both Ukrainian government forces and Russia-backed rebels denied responsibility. The attack in a village in the Luhansk region injured several people and cut off power and gas supplies. The conflicts added fuel to an already tense diplomatic war of words, while leaving civilians to pick up the pieces. Hong Kong stocks have slumped by the most in a month, dragged down mainly by tech firms led by Meituan. Food delivery giant Meituan plunged nearly 15% today, touching its lowest level since July. This came after regulators proposed reducing service fees and commissions in a bid to lower operating costs for restaurants. There was relief for the property sector after some mainland cities began relaxing down payment rules for home purchases. Sunac jumped 5.3% and Country Garden was up 2.3%. The Hang Seng Index closed almost 2% lower. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed down 465 points. Top 5 active stocks today. Meituan is down $32.80. Tencent down $9. Trakafund down 44 cents. Forex trading against Hong Kong dollar. Euro is trading at 8.86, British pound at 10.62, Canadian dollar at 6.14, and Australian dollar at 5.62. Over to the UK market, FTSE 100 is up almost 27 points. U.S. motorists are angry over having to pay more for fuel as the Ukraine crisis triggered fears of supply cuts.
The United States could see a healthy resolution to the situation in Ukraine, and a lot of the fears that we see in the markets could fade away as a result. Long term, the best way to protect against oil shocks is to reduce our dependence on oil.
Higher prices at the pump have created another problem for U.S. President Joe Biden. A survey found that many Americans want the government to help lower the cost of fuel. Americans are also having to pay more for food and other items as U.S. inflation hit a 4-decade high. The observatory has warned of a cold snap in coming days, with the temperature plunging to 9 degrees in urban areas and a few degrees lower in the new territories.
Rain will be more frequent. With cold, rainy, and rather windy weather in the next few days, the wind chill effect will be significant, and the public may feel even colder. We would like to take this opportunity to remind the public to watch out for the significantly colder weather and remember to stay warm.
And tomorrow will be cold and rainy. Temperatures range between 11 and 16 degrees. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Friday night. We'll be back at 11 with more updates. I'm Sarah Wong. Thanks for joining us. Please stay safe and take care.